Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan once more with you from your very own channel Astrological. We have been doing this series of planets transiting over other planets, which means planets which are placed in your birth chart, in your natal chart. When a planet transits over the natal position, the birth chart position of planets, then what kind of manifestation it brings, what kind of possibilities it brings, what kind of results, probabilities it may bring. So we have done the transits of Jupiter and Rahu and Ketu so far, and as I promised, today we will be doing the transit of Saturn over the 9 other entities in your horoscope. Why is this transit very important? Is because firstly, Saturn is the karmic equalizer. It will make you revisit your karma, make you pay for your karma if you have not been up to it, but also reward you for your karma, bring stability in your life. From then on, if Saturn feels you have been true to the energy, to the characteristics and to the duties given to the respective planet in your horoscope. Secondly, Saturn transits over a certain house or sign for 2.5 years, which means when Saturn is transiting over a certain planet in your birth chart over a certain house and sign, it will remain in that house and sign for 2.5 years. So Saturn will keep affecting that energy of that house, of that particular sign and the houses that the planet rules for roughly over 2.5 years, which means through this period Saturn will have ample time to make you revisit, to make you think again about what you have done so far about the planet's responsibilities and duties so far, or what you have shunned, and either reward you for what you have achieved so far or also bring about certain challenges to you as way of punishment and also course correction. So let's jump into and understand when Saturn goes over the 9 entities in your horoscope placed in your birth chart, what kind of results that Saturn brings about. When Saturn transits over the natal position or the birth chart position of the Sun, what does Sun stand for? Sun stands for your accountability, your responsibility, your power and influence, or your need or the desire for power and influence, and your leadership. Your ability to showcase yourself, demonstrate leadership capabilities, to take accountability and responsibility. So when Saturn goes over natal position of Sun, this is a fact checking and a reminder to people that Sun is not about your own pride, your dignity, for you to be raised on a pedestal, for you to be put on the high seat, for you to be given everything on a platter, and the people who are below you all to listen to you, and you to become somebody who has the highest authority and has the authority to be able to punish others, dictate to others. That's not what it means. Saturn, when it goes over Sun, it is a reminder that the Sun, the soul, the king, is to serve others. With the power and responsibility, the person is to serve. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So far, if you have utilized the Sun only for your benefit, trying to bring the power and influence in your life, trying to raise your status, raise your dignity, raise your situation to such an extent that you are seen as a leader in your home, in your society, in your family or at work, and you have taken the power and influence in your hand and have also tried to inflict your sense of self-respect, your sense of pride, your sense of dignity on others, and push back those who have not put you on that pedestal, not given into your authority or your need for your power and influence. Then Saturn is a reminder that your responsibilities that has been given to you by the zodiac to be a serving leader, you have not been true to that energy. Then Saturn, if it finds that you have shunned responsibility, you have not taken up accountability and responsibility, you have not stood up as a leader, defending people, helping people, supporting people, then Saturn either takes away that responsibility and the power and the authority which has been given to you, or suffocates the power and authority to such an extent that you are not able to exert your power anymore. People will push you back, people will say enough is enough, we don't want to look up to you as a leader, we don't want to give in to your authority. There will be rebellion against you, or people will refuse to conform to your authority. So Saturn will punish your need for authority or leadership in that sense. However, if Saturn finds so far you have been somebody who's been a good leader, you have taken power, accountability all seriously, to help others, to stand up for others. You have been a servant leader and you have taken the roles and responsibilities seriously. Not giving in to the need for your self-respect to be the highest, but the need to serve to be the highest. Then Saturn rewards you with more stability, gives you more growth in your power and influence. Saturn may slow down during that phase for you to reflect on what needs to be corrected so far if you have been true to the need or the responsibilities of the sun, of the authority. If you have not been true, then again it is to reflect that what am I doing wrong, that right now the power and authority is going from my hands, nobody is listening to me. So during this sense of course correction, if you need to be punished, Saturn will do that, but if you need to be rewarded, Saturn will also do that by renewed vigor given to you, renewed power and influence to be given to you, and new stability in such a manner that once the power is given to you, the state is given to you, then nobody can take away from you. Then from then on, a situation of good growth, good influence and highest power given to you. So if Saturn is transiting over your sun or has transited and you have not seen a change either ways, then it is a time to reflect what went right for you, what went wrong for you, or why Saturn has not promised or given the promise that it goes over a natal placement brings about that change. Now when Saturn transits over the natal position of Mercury, what is Mercury about? Mercury is about using your power of communication, using your intellect, using your ability to be able to use analytical decisions, logical decisions, data oriented decisions, and from then on, or using that to be able to put it to use for advantage of everybody else, to the advantage of your team, to the advantage of your department, to the advantage of your organization as well. And the intellect is also given to you to be able to excel in education, to learn new things in such a manner that your skills are sharpened, your competence is sharpened, your intellect is sharpened, and you are able to take more thought through decisions, higher thought through decisions, more analytical decisions from there on, and to be more precise in your work, to become precision oriented and more complete in your work. And through the power of influence, being able to sell your ideas, convince other people and get people to act in the manner that you intend them to, back with and armed with the tools of analysis, focus and your intellectual capacity. So when Saturn goes over natal Mercury, it checks, have you used all these skills to the advantage of the greater good of the team, the department, the organization, and for the greater good of humanity, of society, or you have used it only to your advantage? You have used your intellect only to be able to grow yourself. You have used your ability to communicate, your ability to influence others, only to influence others, to give you the growth, to give you the corner office, to give you the power and influence. If that is what you have done so far, not used your intellect for the greater good, which is your karma, and Saturn denotes your karma, then when Saturn goes over Mercury for those 2.5 years, it is a reminder, it is a check and balance for you as a time to reflect. Have you done the right thing or have you deflected your duties? So if you have not been true to your duties, if you have not used your intellect responsibly and for the advantage of others, but you have been selfish, how you have used your intellect, your power of analysis, your precision, your analytical skills, even against people closest to you, then Saturn will suffocate your ability to be able to use your intellect sharply. You may slow down during that time, you may not take the right decisions, you may feel fearful about your decision making, it will make you doubt your decision making skills, it will reduce your belief, it will give you no power in your communication that you will be able to exert those influencing skills which you have used earlier. So during this time, Saturn will punish you, Saturn will take away all those energies for you, and it will be a time where you will really feel lost, what's going wrong. However, if you realize what mistakes you have done and if you want to course correct from now on, because it is the time for you to reflect, then Saturn will see you over the next 2.5 years or next 1.5 years, whatever Saturn has given you after putting you through this challenging situation of teaching you a lesson. And from then on, if Saturn feels that you have become somebody who has started to focus on the right things, started to focus on what needs to be done, then slowly Saturn may also bring about a change in giving you the power back, giving you influencing skills back. However, if you have been true to the duties of Mercury, the competence of Mercury, the intellect of Mercury so far, when Saturn transits over Mercury, Saturn finds that you have been somebody who has been true to the energies and the output of Mercury, then Saturn rewards you more. Saturn gives you sharper intellect and more stable ability to be able to influence more number of people. So it gives you higher growth to influence more people, to be able to use your intellect better, to be able to grow in your stature, and to be able to become more precise and precision oriented in your work. Now when Saturn's transit is over the natal position of your Venus, what is Venus about? Venus is about the good life, the good things in life, the richer life, the more desirable aspects of life, those things which are coveted, those things which have a higher price on them, those people which are not easily available, so they fetch a higher need and desire for them in the market. It is also about the good life, the richer life, the good food, the good labels, all the life's luxury oriented conveniences, the beauty, the intimacy, the love and affection that you get, and the best of life that you can enjoy. Apart from the riches as well, good bank balance and a lot of moolah also as part of your assets. So when Saturn goes over Venus, it's a time to reflect. In those 2.5 years, the first thing Saturn starts with is that checks with the person or forces the person to think about, have I done or utilized what has been given to me as riches so far? By virtue of slowing down the results of Venus, especially if the person has not lived up to what needs to be done, how the person has to be able to use those riches effectively, efficiently, without turning to the carnal desires, the base desires, but also being able to be more minimalistic in spite of having all that, and not indulging or overindulging in those things, some of which you may be taboo, some of which may even be unethical, and not overdoing the riches that have been given to you, not overdoing the quality of life that has been given to you. If you have a fleet of cars, but you're not looking at those people who are the poorest of the poor, you're not sharing your wealth, you're not being true to the love and affection that has been given to you as your spouse or a partner, but you also have a roving eye. So in matters of Venus, you have been somebody who has either diverted away from the path of being true to the energies, or being somebody who has splurged on all the riches given to you by Venus. Then Saturn tells you that, okay, if you have not been true to the energy and if you have splurged, you have been unethical, then Saturn slows down those results. So in matters of intimacy, Saturn will dry up the intimacy that you may be able to get. You may be so specifically focused on your work, or the money not coming in, or money drying up, because of which your focus is not on the love, the affection, the riches of life, but you're trying to protect the assets. You may not be able to give time to your spouse, or your spouse may turn around and say, you have taken me for granted so far, I don't want to give you any time, I don't want to give you attention anymore. So it may be a seesaw battle that you're fighting, which energy to be able to put where and how to be able to balance the situation. And so there may be a dearth of money coming in, there may be a dearth of love and affection that you get, there may be a dearth of the good quality of life that you can enjoy. Sometimes you may not be even be able to enjoy the good foods, because there may be some ailment that Saturn gives you. There may be a challenge in your conjugal bliss because of some sexual challenges that Saturn may also create. So Saturn in a variety of ways will dry up how Venus has been serving you so far. If you have not been true to the energy of Venus, you have been splurging, you have been unethical, or you have not been giving, you have not been sharing enough. And through those 2.5 years, Saturn will give you a lot of time to reflect and to correct your course from then on. On the other hand, if you have been true to the energies of Venus, you have been somebody who has not crossed the moral ethical boundaries, you have enjoyed all your intimacy but with one partner, being true, being committed, being loyal, and you have also restricted to the extent that you would want to splurge on the other carnal desires of food, the riches of life, the labels, the car, the fleet of cars, but you have been more giving, you have been more sharing, and you have been more conservative in your spending, enlarging your heart to give more. Then Saturn stabilizes the situation so far and rewards you more, gives you more, and ensure that from then on Saturn doesn't take away from you until the next Saturn's transit over Venus again. Now when Saturn transits over the natal position of Moon, this is a sort of a wish dosha. Wish dosha occurs in your natal horoscope, but if in your natal horoscope Saturn is not placed with Moon, but in transit Saturn is going over Moon, then it does create a sort of a mini wish dosha during its transit period. However, this is a wish dosha which can increase in its strength basis how you have used the qualities of the duties given to the moon, the characteristics of the moon so far. What is the moon all about? Moon is about your ability to support, to nourish, to take care, to understand others, to empathize with others, to attach yourself not only to people, not only to what you need in life, what you like in life, but also attach yourself to worthy cause, to a more emotional aspect of you, not only being attached to a family, your loved one, but also to a cause which also emotionally rattles you. Moon is also about how you are able to use your intellect, your emotional intellect, and you're able to be more balanced in your emotions. And through that also are able to not only balance how you're looking at people, how you're able to serve better, how you're able to make the right choices, but also what kind of empathy you are able to have in your heart to be able to give more. And your riches, your assets, the fixed assets that you can make, like cars, your conveniences in life, the jewelry, all the fixed tangible assets, if not the liquid money which Venus represents. So moon is all about that. So if so far the zodiac has given you an opportunity to have peace at home, harmony at home, love and affection at home in your life, and you have been able to create your assets also, but you have not focused on truly nurturing others, supporting others, taking care of others, or you have been somebody who has thrown an emotional tantrum every now and then, not been true to your assets or how you use your assets, or just try to make your assets without sharing, without turning an understanding heart towards those who are downtrodden, in spite of being given the motherly moon, strong moon which has been given to you, to be able to support others, to nourish others, and also to be empathetic to others. If Saturn finds that you have not done so far, then over this 2.5 years, Saturn will first dry up all attributes of moon. So it will dry up your ability to be happy, your ability to have tranquility at home, your ability to feel peaceful. Rather than that, it will increase your frustration, it will increase your anxieties, it will increase your sense of not being balanced emotionally. It will make you take unemotional decisions or cold-hearted decisions, or sometimes very, very emotional decisions to your detriment. So Saturn in a way teaches you a lesson by coming down heavily on you and destroying the peace of mind, especially if not being nurturing and caring for others. And the love and affection that you get from your loved ones, closest ones, may also seem to dry up during that phase. And during those 2.5 years, it is a time for you to reflect. What have you done wrong? Why you're not getting that love and affection anymore, those assets anymore? Where do you need to course correct? But if so far you have been somebody who has been true to the energy of the moon, you have been loyal to the energies of the moon, you have understood the responsibilities, you have taken care of others, you have been nurturing, you have been supporting, you have been understanding, you have been empathetic, and you have shared your assets with others, taking care of others, and you have also been emotionally intelligent, where to spend what emotions and where not to. Then Saturn stabilizes that harmony, that peace, that love and affection in your home, in your heart, in your family, in your surroundings, and then also gives you that emotional peace and tranquility to be able to attach yourself to worthy cause, to do even more than what you have done before, and to be more supportive, and gives you more assets, gives you more resources to be more motherly, to be more supportive. When Saturn goes over the natal position of Mars, what does Mars represent? Mars represents your ability to achieve goals. Mars represents your ability to fight, to stand up for others, to take the fight to the opposition, to conquer your enemies, to push back your enemies, to have the strong willpower, to have the strong motivation, to be able to go there where nobody else can go, to win in those areas where others will tremble not to be able to go, to be able to stand up for those who are people for worthy causes, those people who can't defend themselves, and also to stand up for the manifestation of the soul. Because Mars is the general, Mars fights for the king, king is the sun, sun is the soul. So the biggest responsibility of Mars is to have those goals which will manifest the soul's elevation, and to be able to defend those people who are not able to defend, and to be able to heal, to problem solve, and to do it with utmost willpower, to do it with utmost motivation, and to do it with a lot of killer instinct, without fearing anybody, and without fearing for what is the opposite action that is coming by to push the competition back. So if you have been true to the energy of Mars so far, then good. But for some reason, if you have not been, and Saturn finds you have not stood up for others, you have not defended others, you have not defended worthy causes, you have not defended your soul's purpose, you have not had worthy goals, all that you have tried to do is to serve your purpose. You're fought only for yourself, you're defended only yourself, or maybe your immediate vicinity or your loved ones, but you're not fought for worthy goals. You're not fought for your department. You're not fought for your team. You're not fought for the right principles and values, but only to fight for yourself, to build assets, and what you feel will further your case. Then Saturn's transit over Mars for those 2.5 years will first start with suffocating the power, suffocating your ability to be able to push back competition. Competition will have a higher authority over you or push you back, and they will have an upper hand on you. You feel that you have been losing and you have been giving up ground. So then you start to feel, what's going wrong? So far whatever I did was good. Right now why am I failing? And your ability to be able to get more and fight for yourself is also seems to be reduced. When you fight up for yourself, then you find that it is blowing up in your face. People are pushing you back, and so sometimes those fights also rub off the wrong people. They become more belligerent with you. There is aggression. There is even sometimes even to a case where there may be violence also. So because of this, a roller coaster ride of upheavals in your energy, in your willpower, in your motivation to be able to excel, and competitions seeming to have upper hand on you, you start to become more fearful rather than fearless, and you start to begin to lose ground rather than to gain. So if you have not been true to the energy of Mars, Saturn makes and punishes you to make you reflect what is going wrong, why this is happening, and for you to course correct from there on. But if you have been true to the energy of Mars, you have stood up for others, you have fought for the right causes, you have fought for the department, you have fought for the downtrodden, you have stood up for people who can't stand up for themselves, and you have tried to think about what should be your life goals which will elevate your soul. Then Saturn, during its transit over Mars, gives you very high stability. Saturn increases your willpower. Saturn increases your motivation. Saturn increases your killer instinct, and Saturn gives you stability in your win over others. And if you remember, Mars gets exalted in the sign of Capricorn. So Saturn is sometimes most beneficial to Mars when it is translating over it, provided Mars has been true to the energy, provided Mars has been true to the karma, because Mars gets exalted in the sign of Capricorn, which is the 10th house, which is also the house ruled by Saturn, the house of karma. So if you've been true to your karma, Saturn rewards Mars the most, or the person who use Mars the energy the most, by giving you more power, more influence, ability to gain more ground, ability to overcome all competition and rise to the highest levels that the general can go and can fight for the soul's elevation. Now when Saturn transits over natal position of Jupiter, what does Jupiter represent? Jupiter represents your learning, your ability to learn, your academic qualification, your higher learning, your spiritual learning, your faith, your belief, your teaching, blessings of teachers, your ability to learn and to teach, your ability to be able to comprehend the highest meaning, the highest manifestation of learning which is not given to others. And it is also about long distance travel, not only by virtue of the distance physically, but also distance in the mind, makes you more liberal. It's also the energy to expand the prosperity, expand the abundance, expand the ability to become more competent, to be an expert, to be a guru in the true term, and to be able to rise to the highest levels of duty and responsibility through your faith and belief, through your learning, and through your experiences that you have gained. So if when Saturn goes over Jupiter, Saturn finds that you have not been true to the energy of Jupiter, you have used all the learning for your own advantage, whatever competencies you have acquired, you have kept it secret so that you have an edge over others, you have not shared it with anyone, you have not become a teacher in your own true meaning and manifestation, and you have not been true to the guidance of the teachers that sharing is important, caring is important, and to share your prosperity, share your abundance, not been liberal in your thoughts, you have pushed back your faith and belief, you have not been true to the faith and belief, in fact you have doubts in your faith and belief, you have done nothing for your spiritual ascension. Then when Saturn goes over natal position of Jupiter, that time Saturn starts with taking the ground from below you. You start to doubt your own learning. People will start pushing back you on your learning. People will start challenging you on your learning, on your faith, in your belief, in your wisdom, and your so-called wise choices, your so-called wise advices. People will say, no, this will not work. What are you talking? And you will find that a lot of advices, counseling, guidance that you are giving to people, consulting you are giving to people may also go wrong. And others start having an advantage over you. Others start to become more competent over you. They start to showcase themselves as guru when you are falling behind. So this becomes a time for you to reflect. Where have I gone wrong? Where am I doing wrong things? Why am I missing out? Why are people not respecting me anymore as competent, as somebody who is an expert? Why are my advices going wrong? Why has my abundance shrunk? Why has my prosperity shrunk? Why am I not able to learn better? Why are the situation learning that supported me, helped me in the past not helping me anymore? So this is the time to self-reflect and to course correct, understanding the situation that Saturn is bringing about, and to change your ways, to be able to do more for others rather than be self-serving only for yourself, to be more large-hearted in sharing your secrets, in teaching others, to become more competent, to be more self-reliant, and also to be more large-hearted in giving information, and sharing your prosperity and abundance, being a true guru in the true terms of the word. If so far on the other hand Saturn finds you have been true to the values of Jupiter, the duties given to Jupiter, being a true guru, helping others, supporting others, sharing your competence, guiding others truthfully, looking at yourself later and looking at the larger needs of society first, then Saturn stabilizes your learning. You in fact rise, your stature rises as a true guru. Remember, Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in your natal chart is about the Dharma Karma Adhipati Yoga. So it's a mini Dharma Karma Adhipati Yoga, which is an action. Then Saturn is going over the natal position of Jupiter. So Saturn is activating the high learning, your ability to learn more faster, and to be able to then demonstrate and showcase yourself as a highest level of guru, to truly rise in the eyes of others as a guru, increases your abundance, increases your stature, makes you a true judge of situations and a true harbinger of faith and belief as well. Now when Saturn goes over the natal position or your birth chart position of Saturn, what is Saturn? Saturn is about your responsibility, your commitment, your authority, or your respect for authority, or your respect for rules and regulations, your respect for being within the boundaries rather than pushing over the boundaries, your respect for organization, you being more disciplined, you being more organized, also you being more patient, more hardworking, more giving, and being a more team player. So when Saturn goes over the natal position of Saturn, it checks how have you been as a worker, how have you been as a team worker, how have you been as somebody who's been loyal and committed and been a true service oriented person. For example, many of the people who Saturn rules or is the deity for are the people who are at bottom of the pit or bottom of the profile, or the lowest of the low people in the food chain. So usually people who are the labor class, like the plumber, the security guard, the driver, the carpenter, all those people who serve below you, the garbage man, the firefighters, all these people represent the serving class of people who all help the society function smoothly. So Saturn represents them. If you're part of the labor class in whatever level, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even the judge or magistrate, whatever level you are, if you find that you feel that your growth is stuck up, if you are level 1 for, say for example, somebody who is a plumber or the garbage taker, then you may be somebody who may feel that, okay, I have been caught in this, I have been unlucky, fate has not done good to me, I was born in not so rich a family, I was born in a poor family, I did not have access to good food, good education, because of which I have been stuck in this rut. See what kind of work I am doing, I am not able to do better work, I am not able to contribute more, see how people respect me. The moment you degenerate or denigrate your work and you feel less pride in what you do, and you feel that you're not able to bring about a bigger change because you are feeling demeaning in your own work, then Saturn doesn't want you to demean your own work. Saturn feels the most important work is the work of the laborer, the bottom of the pit, because very few people are the takers for that kind of work. So the zodiac doesn't give more importance to the more rich person or the more affluent person or the IT professional who is making a big change to society and earning a lot of money. Saturn gives utmost importance to the person who is bottom of the pit, the person who is the support to the society, so the society functions. And Saturn wants you to take pride in your work, not to feel that you're in your rut. So to feel pride that you are able to keep society going and functioning normally and functioning smoothly, you bringing hygiene to people's life, you bringing order to people's life, you bringing structure to people's life. So if you have been somebody at whatever level you have been, even if you are the mid-level manager or even if you are a high-level manager, and if you feel that you have done duty, you have done justice, and you take pride in your work to serve others rather than working only to keep your kitchen fire burning or to keep your family adequate or to get your things. So to that extent, you're working very, very hard, you're working in organized manner, you're working very patiently, you're following all rules and regulations only for yourself, but looking down upon your work or not doing justice to your work, doing only so much so that you feel I've done enough for what I take home. Then Saturn will, during its phase of Saturn return, this is one of the very, very important Saturn's transit over its natal position. Then Saturn teaches the biggest lesson to those people who have not treated Saturn well, those who have not treated the people below them well. If you have disrespected the people who have been the supporting class, if you have disrespected your own work, if you have disrespected or devalued your own work, you have not taken pride in your work, you have not stood by and done your work with a lot of commitment, respect and dignity, then Saturn will succumb you. Then Saturn will take away the little bit of pride that you have, the little bit of hard work that you are able to do, the patience that you are able to that you are able to showcase, and will bring in frustration. And even your little bit of work may go down the wayside. You may be let off, you may be given the pink slip, you may be not getting those fruits of labor. If you are somebody who is slated for growth, the growth may not be given to you, somebody else may be given the growth. So then you feel frustrated, what have I been doing wrongly, what have I not been doing rightly. So this is the time when Saturn goes over Saturn for you to be able to reflect that you need to take pride in your work, you need to work very, very hard in spite of whatever remuneration that you take, but you take dignity in your work that you do. And to treat people who are below you at whatever level you are, there will always be somebody who will be serving you directly or indirectly. To respect them, respect their word, stand by them and stand for them. If you are able to do that, or if you have done so far, then Saturn brings some of the greatest stability when it is going over its own placement, because Saturn's return placement happens usually in 99.99% of our life only twice. Whatever age you may be, Saturn's first transit happens up in your 30th year, and the next transit over the same placement with the same planet will happen in the 60th year. How many people live to the 90th year? So the Saturn's transits over its own natal position, the return position, are one of the most critical factors of Saturn, and these can be most rewarding for you if you are true to the energy, or the most suffocating to you if you have not been true to Saturn's energy. Now when Saturn transits over the natal position of Rahu, in some verses, in some astrological books, it has been mentioned that Shanivat Rahu Kuchvat Ketu, which means Rahu is like Saturn and Ketu is like Mars. But how can Rahu be like Saturn? They are chalk and cheese. Rahu is hunger, greed, impatience, shortcuts, not wanting to follow rules and regulations. Saturn is opposite, follows rules and regulations, patience personified, wants to do all the right things, doesn't want to do shortcuts, and respects rules and regulations, respects authorities. Then how can Rahu be like Saturn? For the simple reason that Ketu is your exhausted karma, what karma you have already done, been there, done that. So if Ketu is your exhausted karma, Rahu is your karma for this innings in your life, which means Saturn is also a karmic equalizer. Saturn also represents your karma by virtue of ruling the 10th house. So Rahu also represents the karma for this life. Saturn also represents the karma that you're being given to do in this life. So the work that Saturn has been given, it is Rahu's job to be able to focus on that and to be able to make it achievable with the hunger and greed. Saturn brings in the patience, the organization. Rahu has to bring in the hunger and greed to be able to achieve that. So Rahu in some ways is like Saturn because it is also the karma. So if you have been true to Rahu's energy, to have the hunger and greed to do your responsibilities, to do your duty, to be able to push forward, to be able to do the duty that Saturn wants you, what your karma is, the karma that has been given to you, and to be able to achieve that. But in turn of that, rather than focusing on your karma, you are focusing on assets, you are jealous of your neighbor, your greed for power and influence is very high. For that you are ready to take shortcuts, you are ready to manipulate, you are ready to cheat, you are ready to fudge, and then you are ready to use any means to go ahead. You have no respect for rules and regulations, no respect for authority, no respect for commitment, no respect for loyalty. Anything is fair for you. Love or war or work. Then when Saturn is going over the natal position of Rahu, this is a mini Shrapik dosha in action. It is like a curse-like dosha. It can be one of the worst dosha that somebody can have in your horoscope. So when Saturn is going over the natal position of Rahu, it activates the Shrapik dosha to an extent during the 2.5 years. So what is Rahu being taught a lesson by Saturn? If you have not been true to the commitment, the loyalty, not being true to authority, following rules and regulations, trying to shortcut, trying to cut short your work, doing only so much, or hiding or demonstrating that you have done more while you have done less, then Saturn will take away those achievements from you which were in the offing or coming to you or about to come to you or were made possible for you after your years of manipulation and getting through the powers that be and using them, and then that corner office is just about coming to you, the growth is just about coming to you. At that point of time, Saturn will suffocate and take away all the possibilities and left you high and dry. And you feel, I was about to get the promotion, I was about to get the corner office, I was about to get the raise. What suddenly happened? And Saturn makes you to reflect what went wrong, where did things go wrong, because then you start to get caught. Saturn brings you down with a thud. Saturn brings you down to the bottom of the pit. Right from where you're sitting on the high seat, you're feeling that nobody is looking at me, nobody is able to bring me down because I'm sitting so high. Saturn will bring you down like a thud from the highest levels of office and will expose you in every manner. It will demean you also, it will dust you, especially where Rahu is concerned, because Saturn expects Rahu to do the karma. But if you have not been doing that, then Saturn will also punish you, make you reflect. From now on, at least start to be more dutiful, more patient, and to start focusing on your work. But on the other hand, if so far you have been somebody who may have the hunger and greed, having hunger and greed is not bad, but hunger and greed for greater good of humanity, hunger and greed for greater innovation, to be able to do something for others, greater hunger and greed to be able to achieve something that you leave your legacy behind. So wanting your name also to shine, wanting some rewards for yourself, wanting some appreciation for yourself is not wrong, especially if you want to achieve something for the greater good. And if you have lived that life so far, then Saturn rewards you more. Saturn increases the explosive nuclear energy of Rahu to be able to give you more stability from now on. So it not only gives you high growth, it gives you the power to be able to excel, it gives you breakthrough in your work to become somebody who is truly reflecting of your karma, doing well in your karma, and stabilizes those results. Nobody else can take away those results for you. You've been true to the energy of Rahu so far. Now when Saturn transits over the natal position of Ketu, what does Ketu represent in your horoscope? Ketu represents all that you have already visited, already done, already achieved, planted the dhwaja of flag, and so you have already enjoyed those fruits. So in this innings of your life, you have to focus on being more giving. Your karma is not exhausted. The fruits more or less has been exhausted, but your karma still has to be done. You still need to be doing more in those areas without wanting or without expecting fruits, because the fruits will be given less to you. Hardly ever will you get the fruits to your expectation wherever Ketu is placed, or whichever house Ketu is placed in, whichever planet that Ketu is placed in. Secondly, Ketu is also like Mars. Mars is also the ruler of the Scorpio sign, the 8th house. So Ketu also truly represents the power of change, the power of transformation, which means you need to transform yourself away from a material person to being a more spiritual person, looking at the spiritual elevation. And what does the spirit want? The soul wants to lighten all burdens so that it can rise. So it wants to shed all the material desires, all the materialistic gains that it has, all the material assets, because it keeps you connected to the world. Number of times when people feel that they have so much money, they have achieved so much, they are fearful. What will happen if I die? Will people loot all my money? Will people come and loot my house and kill me and take everything away? So they are always living in this fear. So Saturn's transit over Ketu is about a reminder that have you been more given so far? Have you been more charitable so far? Have you been more philanthropic so far? Or have you had at least a charitable heart, putting effort to others, for others, and to do something for a spiritual ascension rather than continue to be connected to the material world? Ketu can become the biggest vehicle for you towards spiritual elevation, because Ketu denies you the most by making it easiest for you to give up. So, but if you have not done so far, you are focused on chasing that item, chasing that attribute where Ketu is placed, in spite of knowing that or in spite of not gaining the gain so far, the win so far in that area, but you're still focusing there. Then when Saturn goes over natal Ketu, Saturn is a reminder for Ketu that see, you have chased something which has been a failing cause for you. How many times have you created the bank balance only to lose it? Well, Ketu is placed in your second house, but you have not given up. So when Saturn goes over natal position of Ketu, it is a reminder. It will maybe in a sudden swift action take away all your savings or force a situation upon you that once again you feel that you have left with nothing, and then you feel, I have done time for strong reflection, self-reflection. I have done so many times the effort to create my bank balance or to get better gains from my work or get better gains from my business, but I've been feeling, why am I feeling? Where am I going wrong? So if you have so far not been charitable, if you have so far not been giving, if you have so far not wanting to give up to do more for others so that you are lightening the burden at least for that house, then Saturn will suffocate you those areas further, will frustrate you further, will make you think about your spiritual elevation rather than materialistic connections. However, if so far wherever Ketu is placed and in general in your life, you have been more giving, you have been more charitable, you have been somebody who is always wanting to help others, you're always thinking about the larger purpose of life, you're always thinking about your spiritual elevation, you're always thinking about that you want to rise higher, have a higher spiritual ascension, wanting to do more, wanting to be remembered as a person with a large heart, and your focus, your energy is there. Then when Saturn goes over Ketu, Saturn brings in an opportunity for you to be get in so much, in so many avenues. Saturn will pay you that you will not know where all these goodies are coming from, so that you are able to do more, so that you are able to give more, so that you are able to become more charitable. Sometimes Saturn may give you so much over its transit over natal position of Ketu, specifically of that house, that you take so much that you don't know what to do, and it gives you in throngs. So if you have been true to that, this is one of the best transits of Saturn over Ketu, because it brings in more truly a spiritual thinking in your mind. It makes you think more deeply, it makes you think widely, and it makes you truly think about how your union to the superior energy can come about. So friend, now that we have discussed about Saturn's transit over the 9 natal positions of planets in your horoscope, see in over which planet Saturn is transiting over or will transit over in the next 6 months when it goes into Aquarius or in general, and be true to the energy of the planet. Be prepared, because you have done enough. If you have not done enough, it's a wake up call for you that whichever house Saturn is about to transit, be prepared, do more, follow rules and regulations, follow the moral code, follow the ability to give more, to do more, follow a more servitude action in that area, servitude action about the duty and responsibility of the planet, so that you get the most amount of stability, you get the most amount of growth when Saturn passes over the natal position of planets in your horoscope. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.